Welcome to the Rum Revival. My name is Arminder, and today we're talking about and drinking a new rum from independent bottler Rolling Fork Spirits out of Indiana. This is their Heart of Gold. Now, typically Rolling Fork sources, finishes, and bottles single cask strength rums, but with this release, they're getting into the mixing space. Now, I am going to be trying this in a bunch of cocktails with the guests, but before we do that, let's talk about the rum. Okay, so this rum is a blend of 4 different rums. First off, there's a 3 to 4 year old pot calm blend from Foursquare Rum Distillery in Barbados. Then there's a 1-year-old pot still Worthy Park Jamaican rum in here. And then there's also a 3 to 4 year old Worthy Park pot still rum. And then lastly, there's a 2-year-old calm distilled Jamaican rum from Clarendon Distillery. So basically 3 Jamaican rums and 1 Barbados. Now those 4 barrels are blended together and bottled at 50.5% ABV. And this thing retails about $30 to $35 depending on your market. And since we're in my kitchen and since this was designed as a mixing rum, I figured it'd be good to try it out in a bunch of different cocktails. Now, this isn't going to be a cocktail tutorial or a cocktail making video. Think of this as more of a tasting video to see what kind of cocktails this rum does really well in. Since it's always more fun to have drinks with a friend, I figured I'd bring on a guest to help me get through this bottle. And I can't think of anyone better suited to the task than someone who really champions the cause of rum and does an amazing job of spreading the good word on social media. It's both your and my rum champion. It's Bryan Inman. Hey Bryan, thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank you so much for having me. This is truly an honor to be here. This rig, this setup is next level, and I'm just happy to be here.
Did you ever think you'd be hanging out in my kitchen?
No, but you know what? Now I kind of never gonna leave, so I'm just gonna squat.
Yeah, please, you're more than welcome. Bryan, obviously, if you don't follow him on social media, you absolutely should. I'll include all the links there on Instagram, on YouTube, and really Bryan does, I think, a phenomenal job of really getting people excited about rum, obviously educating people about rum, but really just engaging people about the fact that rum is something to be excited about. You know, what else do you have going on? Obviously you have those channels, but...
Yeah. So being based in Southern California in LA, not many people going into bars doing tastings and things like that. So what I'm doing is I have a few clients, El Dorado, Barbancourt, and I work with a number of other clients to do in-person events. So I obviously have the Rum Curious Club, which is a very in-depth experience, couple cocktails, food, brand reps are there, rum tastings as well. So that's one thing.
Nice.
Another thing that I've kind of captured lightning in a bottle with is a Rum Curious happy hour. So 60, 90 minutes. During that time, it's $7 cocktails, no entry fee,
Nice.
nothing
That's a
like
great
that.
deal.
And free rum tastings.
That's awesome. That really is so cool. And you know, especially if you watch like knuckleheads like us online talking about some rum, how great it is, but you don't have the opportunity to actually try it because, you know, maybe you can't get access to it. These events are great opportunities to actually try some of the rums that you talk about, that I talk about.
Yep.
But maybe even more important than that, frankly, is getting to meet other like-minded rum drinkers, rum fans, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the community, right? Because at the end of the day, it's just a means to an end. Of course, like I don't like listening to myself talk that much, but it's more of getting the people next to each other that, oh my God, you live here, I live right there, we're neighbors, why don't we hang out? And hey, after this, you wanna come over and drink? And it's cool to be able to just see that.
Yeah.
And then people come, obviously for the rum, but then they come to see each other.
So Bryan, as the rum champion, that name, to me at least, implies then that there's probably like a bourbon champion and a tequila champion and a like cognac champion. And if that is the case, isn't the expectation that, let's say if there were some sort of like Mortal Kombat style like tournament that you would have to then fight to the death bracket. All of those other champions, and if you were to do that, how do you think you'd fare?
If it's more of how the spirit stands up to everything else,
sure.
Rum is, as we both know, the world's most diverse spirit. Hands down. You take, you know, something from Clarendon, you stick that next to Appleton from Jamaica, and you put that next to unaged rum agricole versus whatever, and the list goes on, and it's truly such a wide category. So if it's not me fighting, it's rum going against all the other spirits. I think rum comes out on top every time.
For sure. So enough about Bryan and what he's up to. Let's actually start talking about the rum here. And before we actually start making drinks with it, why don't we try it neat? Get into this. Here we go, a little bit for you. And a little bit for me. Alrighty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's punchy, like it, you know, it's not shy. Like a big note of like pear, spiced pear,
Which is flambéed. Like if somebody took like the blowtorch and put like a nice little caramelized.
Yeah, maybe like a drizzle of like cinnamon or something on that as well.
Some nice, lovely baking spice.
Yeah, it's clearly heavier on the Jamaican side of things on the aroma. All right, here we go. Cheers, man. A lot of like baking spices.
100%.
Yeah, heavy on the baking spices.
Nice oily mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
man.
mouthfeel is really nice. That's a good point. Yeah. It doesn't feel incredibly hot at that 50.5% ABV.
I know the smell to taste, but I still get that like caramelized pear a little bit, but the heavy baking spices.
Yeah.
There's also just such a lovely, lovely creaminess there.
Now that we've tried this neat, let's finally try it in some cocktails, yeah?
Yes, please.
Let's do it. All right, so here we are. In our first cocktail, we kind of have to start with the daiquiri.
Of course.
Classic rum lime sugar combo. And so that's what we're doing. Let's give it a go. Cheers.
Slanja. Where did this come from? I feel like
I don't know, but it's a burden at this point. I swear to God.
You know, and I'm asking 10 different people, I feel like you get 10 different
Oh,
answers.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're honoring the bartender. Oh, is this one guy who started doing it, and then
Yeah.
everybody started doing it. It's an urban legend.
Yeah, really. Just a burden.
Just a burden.
It's good.
Okay. Crisp.
Yeah, crisp.
Refreshing.
Yeah, it's a refreshing. It's a little surprising. At least on the first sip, I'm not getting that punch of like Jamaican
No,
that I
that's-
thought I'd be getting.
I think that this is a daiquiri that a lot of people should start with personally, but I think this has enough character to make it a little bit flavorful.
Oh, for sure.
Without scaring somebody away. So like not starting somebody with like a rum fire daiquiri.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what
yeah.
did I get into?
Yeah, I really do kind of enjoy the aftertaste, the kind of the finish. It is like a very soft Jamaican funkiness.
Yep.
Which is kind of nice to kind of let that in your mouth, you know? All right, so for our next cocktail, we wanted to still keep it simple. I guess technically a 3-ingredient cocktail. It is a Rum Old Fashioned. So here, instead of the lime, we went with a little bit of Demerara syrup and some bitters.
Good call.
Definitely spirit forward, so we're kind of see how the rum does kind of as the big kind of lead in the drink. There you go. Cheers.
Cheers. No tap.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a really good nose. Oh, that's much better.
Ah, yeah. Oh,
Not better, right? But that is the spirit shines. If we're measuring by the spirit shining through,
yeah, boom.
That's
it.
it.
Really does. Yeah, I think, yeah, in the daiquiri, it played like as a team player.
Yep.
Here it is the star of the show, and it steps up. And I think what's really nice is we already talked about how it had like a bit of a body, a little oiliness. And I think the Demerara syrup helps accentuate that. It has
Absolutely.
really nice presence on the
my God,
palate.
so good.
For sure.
and everything about the presentation, though, just even as you're raising it up, that smell just already is like you're in for an absolute treat.
Oh yeah. I'm getting a little bit of the baking spices.
I think that caramelized pear, I think, is
Yeah.
coming through like and highlighting it.
Yes.
The number one thing.
No, the one thing you're not getting here, which is by design, this is not a rum that's aged very long. So you're not getting a whole lot of, say, barrel oak, emphasis.
Sure,
You're definitely not getting that. And I know some people, and sometimes I'm in the mood for a Rum Old Fashioned that has a big emphasis on the barrel and the oak. That's not what this is. So it's not.
No.
It's a flavorful Old Fashioned for sure, but it's not one that has a heavy emphasis on kind of more of a traditional. Your caramel vanilla, your barrel tannins and all that. That's not quite what this is.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, that's a very flavorful.
That is lovely.
I'm trying to describe the Jamaican-ness of it. It's not full blown, but it's present. You notice it,
Yep.
but it's not hitting you over the head.
Right.
And even as much of a rum nerd as I am, as much as someone who really loves Jamaican rums, sometimes I feel like they can be a little too aggressive.
100%.
And then because of that, I only want them sporadically.
Yeah,
But this just has enough of that Jamaican-ness.
Yeah, just a smidge to where it's
yeah.
good. It's good at any time,
Yeah.
right? The point being is that it's enough to where this could be good. I mean, this is an Old Faithful rather than an Old Fashioned, because no matter when you want it, it's always gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in seeing how this works in other spirit-forward applications. Because I really like this.
I mean, where I went to initially with the first sip, Sazerac.
Ooh, there you go.
So good.
Oh, that actually sounds really good.
Because I bet the Peychauds would play really, really well with the base.
Ooh, yeah.
And just that lemon zest. I know.
So for the last drink, we wanted to go with what I think is like the kind of all-star Jamaican cocktail, and that of course is a Mai Tai. So that's what we did, straightforward, traditional Mai Tai. This is 1944 Mai Tai made in the vein of the Smuggler's Cove recipe. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh God.
It's all good. We weren't supposed to do that.
Why were you tapping?
I don't
Alright,
know,
man. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't
Leave
know,
me
I just got
alone,
scared.
man. That's a Mai Tai.
Now this is a Mai Tai.
Yeah. Honestly, not having a Denizen Merchant's Reserve Mai Tai right next to it, it feels sort of playing in that space.
Very similar in the same space. It captures a lot of the essence of the Jamaica. The Jamaica does not diminish like it did in the daiquiri, which is very interesting.
Yeah. You get enough of the Jamaican funk, but it's not.
It's not overpowering, kick
No.
you in the throat, right? So
No, not at all.
But this is a well-balanced,
Yeah.
well-rounded, and amazing cocktail that, irrespective of whether you're an ester head or whatever,
Sure.
if you're a cocktail fan, you will enjoy this. There would be very few people, if any, that would go, oh, excuse me,
Yeah.
this is not a Mai Tai, so
Yeah.
you can take that back.
Yeah, no.
It's amazing.
I like that voice. Do that voice again? What was that?
Ah, excuse me, this isn't a Mai Tai, you can take that back.
I'm actually getting a faint hint of like banana.
Oh, it's, yeah, the banana.
And we didn't necessarily pick that up or a strong note of that in
No.
drinking it neat. But for some reason, maybe it's a combination of the
Banana,
orgeat
cinnamon.
or
Honestly,
whatever.
I think it's the orgeat, and
No.
for me, again, I kind of go to like a Bananas Foster's a little bit.
yeah.
Like that's a little bit in there. But there's that banana forwardness, and then the baking spices kind of show up at
Yeah.
the end, which is interesting because I feel like on the tasting and in the daiquiri thing, the baking spices, I think, hit first. Although we've had a few drinks.
We
so.
have.
We have.
Ooh, it's a little punchy. And by punchy, I don't mean like punch and alcohol.
No,
It tastes
no.
like punch. Hawaiian punch, that
100%.
flavor, that classic flavor.
Yep.
Sometimes in some of the more memorable Mai Tais I've had, like it tastes like that without tasting artificial. You know,
Right.
it's that combination of those tropical fruit flavors and whatever else it is.
No, this is absolutely lovely.
You're welcome. Ooh, is that a little guava?
As I say, guava, or like I guess there's like a little bit of like whatever it is, mango.
Yeah.
I was gonna say starfruit, but starfruit doesn't taste like anything. Let's
It
be
doesn't,
real.
yeah, it doesn't, right?
No, it doesn't. Just like dragon fruit. Okay, first, quick ADHD
Here we go.
sidebar.
Sidebar.
I like that. Here we go. The whole thing about dragon fruit, you cut it.
The thing about dragon fruit.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll do the voice. You know, what's up with dragon fruit? But you know, you cut into it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful looking fruit, and oh my god, it's like.
Yeah.
It's totally, what is it? Neon pink, right? And you're like,
yeah.
oh my god, this is gonna taste great. Take a big old mouthful. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Wow. Anyway, sorry, tangent over. But you know, this is definitely full of taste of the tropics.
It really is, yeah.
So if you want to taste Hawaii in a cup, in a cuppy.
By way of Indiana, by way of Barbados, by way of Jamaica. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, real.
Taste of Hawaii, but isn't that just quintessential tiki? It's an amalgamation of Caribbean
go,
meets
yeah.
South Pacific
Meets the Midwest,
Meets
yeah.
the Midwest.
Yeah.
Just to throw in a little bit of Midwest, you know, America in there.
Yeah, exactly. Boom.
great.
So there you go. That is
Boom.
our take through 3 different cocktails. So, okay, if you had to pick one for this rum, what would you go with? The daiquiri, the old fashioned, or the Mai Tai?
You know, for me, I really enjoy spirits forward things. So I would say the old fashioned.
Ooh. Okay.
Just because, I mean, the Mai Tai is a super close second because tiki has been and will always be my first love. But at least where I'm at right now, I really like spirits forwards things. So that would be it for me.
I'm gonna go with the Mai Tai. I think it's a crushable, delicious Mai Tai that I look forward to making more of with whatever's left of this bottle. And other cocktails we would try making with this, you had mentioned.
Sazerac for sure.
Yeah.
I honestly think just because of the characteristics, I did a Negroni spin with the Hampton Pagos.
Yeah.
I think Negroni would be really good with this, just to play with some of those bitter components. Those are two, and again, just because spirits forward cocktails, that's kind of where my mind goes.
Yeah.
What about you?
In the vein of spirit forward, I've tried it in Manhattan, rum
Oh,
Manhattan.
100%.
Yeah, I think a little bit of koki and then some interesting bitters, and boom, I think that would be super tasty.
Done. I feel that this is an amazing cocktail rum
Yeah.
that is diverse, whether it's you're going tropical,
Yeah.
whether you're going classic, spirit forward, or hey, whether you want to just riff on something super random with like creme de cacao and whatever else.
Look at that. Yeah, I think to me the big selling point is the amount of Jamaican like funk and notes there are without it being overpowering, and the fact that it's higher proof without it tasting that. I think that is cool. I really dig that.
100%.
Yeah, that it you know, it can add some heft without it feeling like too heavy or too hot. Big fan of that.
Yep.
Well, that's it, folks. So that is our video on the rolling fork. Brian, thank you so much for coming and
thank
hanging
you.
out in my
This is
kitchen.
my pleasure,
I
yeah.
appreciate you doing that. Tell the folks where they can find and follow you online.
Right, so Instagram is kind of the main place that I've spent way too much time on. At the Rum Champion, you can find me on Facebook, just trying to follow his example and having some clean, pristine, longer form content. At the Rum Champion as well. We have a Facebook group, so for anybody that's using Facebook, the Rum Curious Club. Those are the best ways to find all the different events that we're doing, and so I'm bringing rum to a town near you.
That's it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.
See you guys.